welcome to Comfy Cozy Up. So this week was my first week on my actual new schedule. Before I was doing a modified schedule till I can get caught up on some new things. So this week was my first time on my actual schedule. Love it, absolutely love it. Did a lot in the mornings because I get a few hours in the mornings before I go to work. But I did not think of how I'm blogging. The vlogging thing is not down packed yet, so I didn't want, this week was just, I just did not get to figure out how to do it. I'm still trying to figure out what to do in the mornings in terms of maintaining a workout. So I have done that the last 3 days this week. I worked out before work, but no crafting, and also had to change when I actually do my journaling, which is now in the morning, but I usually don't post it till after. So that's like something that I literally was just like, okay, this schedule really has impact a lot of things that I've been doing, which is a good thing. But my weekends are still the same. So I did do a lot of reading because I find that when I come home from work, I just want to relax and read. And also I read mainly also in the mornings as well. Sometimes I'm on the bike and I'll read that way. So before I go in the book, well, actually let me do the books first and then I'll show you what I've done this morning. And it's a little bit of work left on it, but just give you a glimpse of what I've done this morning. So I did finish Hold You Down by Tracy Brown, and this book was absolutely amazing. It is a 5-star read for me. I think this is one of those books that really wouldn't get shine. How it's where it's marketed and how it's marketed, you're just not going to see it get the shine. But I spend the last 100 pages of this book crying. Like, I'm reading, turn the page, you just see tears coming down my face because I am so overwhelmed with emotion from the characters and the things that they're experiencing. It is unbelievable how heartbreaking and raw that Tracy Brown was able to give a storyline that is very urban, very much the 80s and the 90s. And also, I just imagine the amount of family that experience this kind of grief and this kind of loss and this kind of pain. This is a story that follows two sisters. Their mother was very much absent in their life. She dealt with her own, I guess you could say, grief and drama, and she didn't get herself out of it. So the story started where it's a funeral, and you get to see the emotion of both sisters, but how they handle things differently is what the story you immediately exposed to. You have one who have this ambition that she can cook and she wants a restaurant, but you know, they're in the ghetto in a city in Staten Island, and they're in New York. They just don't have it. This is the 80s, and they are also raising two boys who are a year apart. So they're growing up together more as brothers than they are of cousins. And the other sister, who happens to be the one that's, I guess you would say, the wild one, to take chance, to take risk kind of personality. And she decided that she's tired of struggling, and she's gonna take the route that is she can't even be honest with anyone with about what she's doing. But that decision has this domino effect, and how it impacts the family, the sister, the children. And the story took place over a period of time where it is part 1 and it's part 2, and as tragedy happened, you are now getting into part 2 where the boys, they are growing up, and think of the inner city and what happened. You have one who is this bright boy who has the grade and, you know, looking forward to go to college. And then you have the other boy who is grieving and also have this how he look at the world in a way of rebellion, and his family's helping, but how things happen with these boys is where the story break your heart, and where you kind of analyze it in a way where you think of how many of men, especially black men, have caught up in situations like this, and their entire life now becomes of what do I do now? How do I get deal with the situation? How do I live with the situation? And there was just heartbreak after heartbreak, and there's one particular guy in this where I felt like he was the one that suffered the most. And it's just how the story is written. It's just she really like gave you that emotional connection to this man, and you're just thinking to this boy that you're in a book, you're seeing the growth and you're seeing the things that happen to him, and you want to hold him, you want to give him a hug, because you just know that life was just unfair. And you think of all the men who have been in a situation like this, and how life is just unfair, and how one mistake, one reaction can completely change the outcome of your future, how you navigate through life, and how your dream just poof and and gone just like that. And I absolutely love this. I will read it again. It is heartbreaking, even though it made me cry, but I would still read it again, because I think there's just so many discussions you can have about this. I love the nostalgia of the 80s and the 90s in this, the music, the reference to what the fashion may have been then in the 80s and 90s, and the things that was going on in this era, because this book really talks about the epidemic of the crack in New York, and how it was spreading, and how it was destroying families. And you get to really have a little bit of it in this story, but it really focused more on family, and how your family can be your everything, but also can be your pain and your heartbreak. And you think of mothers who never quite get to live, because their children become their everything and their only focus, and they don't get to really see their own future in a way, because they're living for their children and only for their children. And you get to see this in this, which is another heartbreaking thing in this book. This is a very good book. I highly recommend it. I wish more people would talk about it, but it surprised me. I never thought it would be this good, but it is amazing. I absolutely love it. It is a take on urban life in the 80s and 90s, and yeah, I was not ready for this. I did not realize it was going to be this good, but it's really good. Then I wanted some romance, because that book was so heavy. It was so heavy. I was just like, give me some romance. I literally was crying all the time reading this book. And so I decided to read, what's her name? J.L. Siegel, Restore Me. So I'll put it right here. I had to think about the author, because I'm not familiar with this author. I've seen this book a lot. This book has been all over every platform pretty much, and I wanted to read something that I feel like is going to give me the happy ending, because this, after Hold You Down, I knew I needed some happy ending book. And this book is a romance that I enjoyed, but my goodness, it did not need to be that long. It was literally almost 500 pages, and I felt like 150 easily was not needed. This is a story about the enemies to lover trope, but also it deals with, I would say, a bit of a second chance in there as well. So you have a woman who's a widow, and her husband passed away, and it's been 4 years, so she's not interested in ever being in love again. And she is best friend with her husband's twin sister, and then also his family has taken her in. She comes from this like bougie family. Her mother's like that socialite, like, you know, her father has wealth and money, so she has this mother upbringing of wanting her to marry for money, and which is not her. She is interior designer, but she does that for like you know, new construction building, commercial stuff like that. And this guy came in, which turned out to be to finish the work, the contract for what they were building, is the best friend of her husband that passed away. But they do not like each other, and you don't get to know why initially, but then as the story goes, you do see, in, you know, you jump into to realize that it's really, there's not really hate on his part, but there's things that happen over the years that made him treat her like that. So there's always that tension. So in the beginning it was kind of cool when they were, you know, the banter started between the both of them, but then as the story goes, it just became very erotic, but just like like unnecessary pages of like, where are we going, like I'm not getting anywhere. I think the author wanted it to be like one of those slow burn, and I can appreciate a good slow burn, but a slow burn that actually makes sense and add on, and you know, and give the story like a page turn. And this is just, I really want to know what's gonna happen once people realize that they're messing with each other, because it doesn't look good. Like she's now with the husband's best friend, so the drama that was gonna surround that, that's what I was waiting for. It gave like this, like, oh, it's gonna be amazing, like, oh, there's gonna be some juicy gossip and things are gonna, it didn't live up to that. So with that said, it's like a 3-star romance. I definitely want to read the second part. It's a 2-part, which is the her best friend, her storyline. But I'm gonna read just because, but I think this is just way too long, and it wasn't as good as people were making it seem. This was, I think, another one that I felt like was a bit overrated. But I'm still gonna read the second one just because I actually like the main character that's gonna be in the second one. So that's all the books that I've been reading. But like I said, guys, highly recommend this. So then today I decided to start my sewing project. So what I am working on is my mother's jacket. So she wanted the same jacket I had, but she wanted it in white. So I decided to sew it in white, and the mannequin, it's tight because the mannequin is my size, not her size. My mom is 2 sizes smaller. So on this mannequin, it actually works out perfect, because this way I know I did the right sizing, because but I should probably adjust this, because I can adjust the mannequin to her measurement to really see how it fits. But right now, yeah, I have like stuff everywhere. So the only thing that left for me to do is hem the sleeve and the bottom. Most of the bottom is going to be hand done, and then that will be it for the jacket. She didn't want, she asked her if she wanted buttons. She said no, because I wore mine during Easter, the black one that I made, and I had it on with some jeans, and she liked it. So she said, you know what, I don't want a button. I think because she saw how I wore mine. Mine don't have any button, and she changed her mind. First she was like, get buttons, and then she said, you know what, no buttons. So but it's done. It is not done, but I mean, just the hemming situation, which I'm gonna probably finish tomorrow, because I'm hand hemming the bottom. It's gonna take a while, so I think I'm gonna serge the bottom, so, and then press it, pleat it where I want to hem it, and then finish the hem probably tomorrow during the day when it's light outside. But that's it. And I have like thread and all kind of stuff hanging out everywhere, so I gotta get all those off here. And I think I'm gonna wash it as well before I give it to her, because it's white and I feel like stuff is already on it. So yeah, so that is it. That is it for today. I'm gonna do some journaling later and find something to eat. It is a rainy day as well, so it looks darker than what it is. I think it's like 4:30, guys, but it has been storming for the last 2 hours. Oh, ooh, that's not it. Yeah, this is how prepared I am. I bought some new gadgets for my sewing machine. So I bought, this is the sewn foot. These are all sewn foot. So this one I bought is the one that helps with a allowance. And what it does is, it's so cool because I've used it and it is like precise. It makes your stitches precise because you can like control where sometimes the fabric want to move and then you end up not getting like a straight line. This one, which is what I put on the machine today and I used it, absolutely love it. Then this is 9 foot. 2 I already have. I don't know why it came with, no, 1, which is the quilting. So this gadget is gonna be, so you can see them. So what these are gonna do is, like when you do gathering, there's a stitch for the a foot for that, which helps because doing the gathering the long way is annoying. And this, one of the tools in here, I can't remember which one it is. I gotta watch the video because that's the only thing I don't like about this. It doesn't come with an instruction. It comes with a, you have to watch the video online to see what each foot do and how to put the foot on. But one, it can do gathering. There is also the one that I didn't need all of these, but I really needed it for 2 things, which was the gathering, and I needed it for the it's kind of like an invisible hem that you can do for certain outfits, especially if you're working with jersey material. That this is good for that. And I forgot what some of the other stuff gets. Oh, and then there's a quilting, but I already had a quilting, so I wish I had another one and not this, because I already have a quilting foot, which I've yet to use. But my machine can do quilting. But I might play around with it one day for something that I think I want to do in the future. But there's a lot of things you can do with this that is just, I'm excited to try and sew in. But yeah, so that's it. And also I bought a new iron. So guys, let me tell you, when I went to my mother and I used her iron, it's not this, it's a different brand, which I couldn't find because she had the iron for a while, and it took out the crease in my dress so well compared to the iron I was using at home, that it just wasn't doing it. It wasn't hot enough and the crease was just not going anywhere. And so I picked this up yesterday at Walmart. It was a little pricey for an iron. I don't never pay that kind of price for no iron, but I know I needed a good iron, and I like that the cord is adjustable cord, retractable cord. So I bought an iron and I used it already today on this, and it worked so well. I just have to you know, put water in there and all that. But I love this. Never heard of this brand, but I saw the review too. I checked the review out and the review was good. So I was happy I got a new iron to help with my crafting. Yeah, and that's it, guys. Yeah, it's a Sunday video you guys are getting, which is unusual for me, but I was just exhausted this week of trying to adjust to this new schedule and getting my life together. But I'm going to vlog. I need to start doing some other things, and it's been hot. Like, I'm looking at my plants right now that I know I probably need to give some water to, because it's unusually hot in here. Windows are open and everything. I refuse to turn the AC on because it's just too early for that, but it feels like 80 degrees in here. Yeah, it's that warm. So I'll see you in the next one, guys. Yeah, let me know what you have been reading, and if you read this, let me know. This is so good, so good, so good, so good, so good. I feel like I want to read it again, and maybe this time I won't cry so much while I'm reading it. But yeah, all right guys, see you in the next one. Bye.